Welcome. 30 must-have things for cooking at home. I'm going to run through a list of ingredients that I feel that you should have in your kitchen to give that little extra lift in your cooking. Now, we've all probably got sugar, flour, eggs, but these are just those items that they're in the shelf, in the cupboard, and they just give you that little extra lift and that little extra taste. We're going to start with the humble onion. A must-have, any savoury cooking, you've got to have some onions. Onions are onions, got to have. Garlic, the innocent little garlic bulb. How innocent is it? Well, what I always do is stick my thumbnail in the top and give it a smell, because sometimes you can get some Fausty ones and they spoil all your cooking. But they should be the ones that you take home if they smell good, so stick your nail in. Ginger, you're going to use this in a lot of Asian cooking, a lot of Indian cooking, a lot of those nice tasty dishes. I buy fresh. You can buy the powder, buy fresh. Cut it into chunks, put it in the freezer. Just take it out and use it as frozen. It's perfect. Lemon. Cheap as lemons. Have one. They're going to give you that zing and that taste. They will be in a lot of little sauces, but unless you like gin and tonic, you might not have one at home. Little tip is though, before you cut them open, give them a good hard roll. You'll get more juice out of them. Herbs. Again, I favour fresh herbs. Buy them from the supermarket, they're fine. They're about £1. Pinch them out, they'll regrow. Don't just cut the whole lot off. Use them, pinch them out, they'll shoot from the little nodes. They have so much more flavour than dried herbs. We're talking about basil, we're talking about coriander and parsley. They're the ones. Put them on your windowsill. You can buy a packet of seeds with your kids, put them in a pot, some compost, grow them on your windowsill. Every 3 or 4 weeks, put some new ones in. That's another way of doing it. Parmigiano Reggiano, a good, hard, tasty cheese. You can buy expensive, or the rest of them are fairly the same price. I would just get the ordinary everyday. The supermarket one is fine, maybe the one they've cut from a large cheese or the one they pack it. As I say, they're not the cheapest ingredient, but they last a long time. Leave them in your fridge. You can put them with cheese dishes. They really do give you that extra boost, or grate into breadcrumbs, which go into coatings or go into stuffings. Butter. I expect we've all got butter or spreads, but when it comes to cooking, frying, get unsalted butter, because you can't take the salt out, but you can put the salt back in later. Okay, breadcrumbs. Now, if you're going to make stuffing, make your own. Obviously, get breadcrumbs. You can buy the packet mixes, they're not as good. You can add all your different flavourings to this. Fruits, the Parmesan cheese, you can give them really nice zings. But get a good one. Don't get the thin coatings that you use for deep frying. Try and get a nice big thick crumbed one, or make your own. It's not difficult, but it's easier to just buy these. You get a nice little sealed pot, so they're good to look after and keep. Okay, stocks. Now, I like the little gel stocks. You'll get them in chicken, you get them in vegetable, you get them in beef, you get them in ham and lamb. You can buy the dried ones, but you have to be careful because some of them are very salty. That's a kind of a trial and error thing, but I like the gelled ones, and obviously they're going to give you that lovely taste to add to things, as well as making their own gravy with them. I mean, make your own stocks if you fancy, but initially you need to have one of those. Okay, we're going to get onto some fluids. Balsamic vinegar. I must admit, before I started cooking, I didn't really know what it was, but since I've started cooking, you're going to find it in recipe books, even from adding it to strawberries or using it as a dressing on salads. You get there's a 3 sort of star system. If you go for 2 or 3, that should be the better ones, but I wouldn't buy the really expensive ones because they are purely for your dressings of your salads. This is the mid-range one for cooking. Lovely zing, nice flavour, but you must cook the vinegar taste out of them. You wouldn't put them in right at the very end in your cooking. Another vinegar, cider vinegar. You can use white wine vinegars, but you will find these, to make a hollandaise sauce, you're going to have to use cider vinegar. It lasts forever, and it will give you that nice zingy taste. Okay, fish sauce. The beauty of fish sauce is it doesn't tend to taste how it smells, and it smells pretty rank, I must admit. But again, your Asian cooking, your Indian cooking, they're going to use fish sauce. Go to, if you live in the city, to a Chinese supermarket, because you'll buy a huge bottle like this for about £1.30, whereas the small bottles in the supermarkets can be £1.50, £2. Really good. Lasts forever and ever. You'll get, I don't know if you can hear that, it does make its own salt crystals in the bottom. It's not a piece of plastic or glass, it's fine. Soy sauce, well, we probably all know what soy sauce is for. your stir fries, your Chinese meals, good thing to have, nice salty taste, stick it on the shelf, it'll last forever. Again, get a big bottle from the supermarket, from the Chinese supermarkets, they're £1 something, they last forever. Happy days. Oils. Now, oils that you go to the supermarket, there's such a range on the shelves. Again, a good mid-range price, you can get the supermarket's own brand or some named brands. Don't buy the most expensive for cooking. They'll use more for perhaps your vinaigrettes and your dressings, but a good mid-range will do most of those things. It's fine for cooking. But you can't use vegetable oil for your dressing, so this will work either side, this will do both. Okay, storables. Tinned tomatoes. Got to have a tin of tomatoes to make your own tomato sauces or to put into meat dishes. Again, don't buy the value ones. The value ones are a little bit wishy-washy, and the really expensive ones are so good you should just eat them straight out of the tin, really. So a good mid-range give you a nice colour and a decent taste. Mustard. We've probably got English mustard in the cupboard, but a whole grain will make you nice sauces. They give you a little pop to taste when you bite into them, and they're good for coating meats, for cooking with, or for roasting. So a nice whole grain mustard. Marmite. Now, as we all know, it's a love it or hate it. Well, I'm not too sure, I kind of love it, and sometimes I'm not too keen on it, I only use a little bit. But you'll be surprised how many meat dishes you can put that in, and it really does just give it that little zing. You don't need a lot, add small amounts until your tastes tell you it's enough. Don't put a hoofing great lot in, because then you can't take it back out. Okay, we've got ground cumin, we've got turmeric, we have ground coriander and ground chilli. Having these will cover your Asian cooking, they will cover your curries. And also, you'll find in recipes, quite often some of them are used just on their own. The turmeric with potatoes and coriander will give it a lovely colour. So they're good, those four. Now you could have probably 44 different types of dried and ground spices, but those four, they kind of pretty much do everything. Okay, looks like flour. Well, it is flour, it's corn flour. I don't like using the thickening granules or the thickening gravies. Just a little bit of this at the end, if you need it, will just give you that slightly more hold it together look. The only thing is with this, you must use it with cold liquids. Don't put it in with hot water and mix it in the cup, because it will just go solid. You put it in, and the boiling of what you're cooking makes it thicken. So into cold milk or cold liquid first, then add it in. Perfect. Seasonal. We use this as a rub, really. It will go into dishes, but you can rub it onto meats, rub it onto chickens before you fry them, and it just, again, gives you that salty, nice taste. But seasonal kind of covers everything. Black pepper. We've probably all got black pepper, but get yourself a grinder and a good whole black pepper seeds, because when you pop those seeds open, you get the real nice, good flavour. It does make a difference. A decent grinder, though, because afterwards, after a short time, it doesn't break them down anymore, and you've got to look after our teeth, especially at my age. Okay, last few things is some good tools. Sounds daft. I like a good, solid, thick board. You can use, if you have a marble tops or granite tops, or you have plastic, the granite and marble tops will blunt your knife. A good solid board, the thick one won't warp and won't soak up the water when you're washing it. Now, sounds daft, another wooden thing, wooden spoon. You might only have metal ones or plastic ones. The metal ones might scrape off and give you the taste of the pan, depending on what kind of pan you've got. So a wooden spoon, they're pens, a must have. 2 or 3. Speed peelers. You can get the ones which are the single, like the knife ones, and you scrape them down. They can be a little bit heavy. These are very quick because they're a speed peeler, and they're very good for making, shall we say, potato crisps, carrot crisps, beetroot crisps, a nice thing. Courgettes, you can get the nice ribbons. Really, 36 pence, you can't go wrong. Very important, sharp, decent knife. Now, with knives, you can buy a whole block of knives for about 5 or 6 quid. Don't bother. Get 1 good veg prep or 2 good knives. They're probably 15, 16, 17, 18 pounds each, but they're good, solid steel. Now, the sharpness of the knife is important because you cut fingers with blunt knives. Now, most people, you have a steel. If you don't know how to use that, this is what I do when I need a knife sharpened. It's a skill to be learned. You can have a steel and do it, and you may never get a sharp knife. Thank you. Perfect. If you don't have that luxury, though, of someone doing it for you who knows what they're doing, again, kind of cheap item, one of these, a little cross sharpener, or you can get the little wheels that sit down and you pull through. But these, you pull them in, pull them away from you, and honestly, that's how you get a nice sharp knife. Very important knife, one of the most important things. Finally, a nice bottle of red wine. Not too expensive and not the cheapest. How else are you going to deglaze your pan? And what's even better is while you're cooking. Happy days. Okay, well I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this has been useful to you. See you again on some of my other recipes. Bye!